I wanted to show you in Photoshop for animation, and that is if we convert a layer to a smart object, then we can do more transforming over time. So for example, if I look at my cattail here, I open that up, what we were animating in this video timeline was the position, the opacity, and the style, and then we also animated the position of a mask. But let's say I wanted to rotate something and scale it up, like make it bigger and smaller, and I didn't want to do that frame by frame. I can make this layer, and so I'll do that here. I'm gonna unlock it, the cattail layer, right click, and convert that layer to a smart object. When I do that, I'll open up, toggle my timeline choices here, and now I have opacity, style, and transform, which is different than position, right? Position is only going to recognize where it is on the canvas, but not recognize other transform qualities like scale or rotation. So this is really cool. We can even like distort things in time, and it'll figure out like the in-betweens. So I'm gonna animate this little tail. It's in a curl, and I kind of wish I made it straighter. But anyway, this little curly tail just to wag back and forth like one time in this animation. So I'm going to move over to, with my time wand, to the 2-second point, and I'm going to click the stopwatch for transform. So I'm also going to zoom in a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. But what's really cool about once this is converted into a smart object is now not only can I move the position of it, but I can also move the rotation. So I could have it rotate and look like it's, it's turning or it's flipping back and forth. So I'm just going to move half a second ahead, and I can speed this up. I'll test it first to see how I like it. And I'm going to hit Command T or Control T if you're on a PC. And now I can rotate it. What's going to be tricky for me is trying to figure out where that just try to stay where it was attached and not shift it too much. That looks all right. I have to accept my changes before I can see anything. So I'm going to click return, or I can the check mark up at the top to accept those changes, and it automatically created a transform keyframe for me in the timeline. And now if I toggle back, it's sort of wagging this tail. It's not totally realistic, but we get the idea. And then I'm going to send it back. So I'm going to go one other half second up, and I'll again Command T so that I can select this and transform it and try to take it back to its close to original position. So let's see. It goes one little wag. And if I play it real time, yeah, that's nice and slow. If I wanted to speed it up, the closer the keyframes, the faster in time the change is being made, right? So I could make it a little bit of a faster wag if I wanted to. Okay, cool. So that's just using the transform tool for rotation. I also wanted to show you how I could put a bird in the sky and make that bird appear closer to us by having it larger, and then fly off into the distance by playing with scale. I could also play with rotation if I wanted to, but I'm mostly going to animate for scale change and then position across the sky. So here's my bird layer. I'm going to click and drag the end of it so that this bird doesn't even appear till the 3-second point. or maybe the 2-second point. Yeah, we'll do the 3-second point. Sorry, I'm changing my mind a lot. So it'll be 2 seconds on the screen. It's going to fly really fast. Okay, yeah, let's make it 2 seconds so I can actually see what's going on. And again, I need to convert this layer into a smart object in order to see the transform option here in our timeline. Right now it says position. So I'm going to right click on the bird layer and then my layers panel, convert to smart object. We see the little icon that says it's a smart object. And now when I open up that, I have transform. I'm going to say that about halfway the bird can be here in the sky, or maybe I can make it up here. I'm going to rotate it a little bit so it's kind of at an angle, flying upward slightly. So I'm going to click on my transform stopwatch to create that first keyframe in the middle, because that's where I would like it to be, at the middle of its motion. And then I'm going to work backwards. So I'm going to go back in time and take this bird, kind of following the line of the angle of its body at this angle. And then I'm also going to, I did Command T to access those transform tools, and I'm going to scale it up quite a bit. So I hit return so that we can see that change, and it's big in the sky and it gets smaller as it goes to the middle. And then I'm going to continue that motion, so take us to the end. So I'm going to continue to move in this direction off the frame, and it will get smaller and smaller. I'll hit return. Let's just see what that looks like. Big bird. It's just it's just gliding past. I could make the wings flap, but I need to separate those on different layers. So for now, we have a bird getting smaller into the distance of the sky. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that because you may want to have some elements that then you rotate around, get smaller and bigger, and all those different layers. If you make them into a smart object, then you have all the options of the Command T, all the transform options that you need.